Today we're also going to talk about the operation of a drill press. This here is a drill press used for a variety of different drilling operations, maybe on lumber, maybe on metal and things, but used for especially when you need good straight drills, holes, and things where you can get straight on. Has lots of different features, and so we'll kind of go over a few of those before we go into it. First and foremost, when you look at the top dial here, this is a speed setting. So depending upon the material that you're drilling through or anything that you're doing, you can set your speed. Currently it's set at 1,000 RPMs, and that's where we want it to be for the lumber and things. Also a good setting for other settings. Over here you can see we have a depth setting. Let's say you may need to do holes that don't go all the way through. You want to go to a certain depth, and so you can utilize these two settings to set how far down your drill goes, and then you can get the same depth hole every single time. We want our drill to go all the way through today, so we're going to leave that setting there. If you look back in here, there's a piece that's a little bit harder to see, but there's this lever here, and this lever is to adjust your table height depending on the material, thickness of the material, also the length of your drill bit and things. Sometimes you have to raise and lower that, and so we're a little bit low actually, and so we're going to turn that and raise that up just slightly to about there, and then we will tighten that back down. And then as you can see, then we're ready to go. We can still put our drill bit in, we can make put our material underneath and still drill our hole. On-off switch is here, and other than that, it's as simple as putting your drill bit in, and just like the normal drill, you put your drill bit into the chuck, and you can hand tighten that down, and then you're going to use your key to tighten that bit. Same philosophy and pieces as before. There's 3 spots to use the key and to tighten that chuck, and so you make sure you tighten on all sides so that bit is nice and secure and snug in that chuck. Becomes increasingly important, especially in the drill press, because we're running at higher RPMs and usually a bigger material and some of that kind of stuff, and so you need to make sure that your bits are in there snug so they don't want to wobble out. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and make a drill hole. I have a scrap piece of board under here. Kind of good practice in wood, especially, to have a scrap board, mostly because even though on this table there is a hole, so that if you go down far enough you wouldn't hit, but you saw that table tends to move a little bit when you make those adjustments, and so always good practice on lumber to put a scrap piece of board underneath the board that you want to drill the hole in. To drill our hole, we've got everything set where we need it to be. Basically turn it on, holding the board snug. You're going to bring the drill bit down in steady, even pressure. Back up, shut your machine off, and you got a great, perfectly drilled hole. Some other things to look at with this drill press: a lot of times when drilling in metal, you will use one of these clamping jigs. The nice part about the clamping jig is it sits in these slots and has bolt holes, and that's going to hold that secure, so that when you're drilling metal that's usually harder to cut and things, you can clamp that in real tight and use it. The other thing to use when drilling on metal is you may use some thread cutting oil or any kind of cutting oil to help lubricate that drill bit as it goes through and reduce heat, so that you don't dull your bit or have it snap off. Other than that, that's the basics of the drill press. In class, we'll practice on that one too.